Hey, shalom. Welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Today we are continuing working through the book of Exodus with our Hebrew Listen and Learn with visual cues directed immersion in the book of Exodus, currently chapter 30, and we'll be starting with verse 5. Let me just say a real quick tefillah. Adonai Adonenu ma'adir shimcha, ken yiratzon, bashamayim gam ba'aretz. היום תמלא נא את פי בדבריך, כי אני יכול לדבר רק כי אתה רוצה. וגם, אבא, תשלח נא את ברכות ממך, משמיים ממעל, על כל תלמידיי. לא לי, לא לי, ולך יהיה כל הכבוד. וכל הדברים האלה, אנחנו נברכך בזכות ישוע המשיח. All right, welcome back. Let's go. So verse 5, I'm just going to scan it first. We'll cant it as we scan. Some of you like that. Ve'asita et habadim atzei shitim vetzipita otam zahav. By the way, the meracha accent mark here, it should be over here by the tav. I'm not sure why my formatting shoved it over a bit. Okay, just so you know, that's not so normal the way it's written there. All right, so let's break apart the first word. Ve'atzita. And by the way, you can just listen or you can watch, however you prefer to learn is fine. If you're a visual learner, I'm zooming in here and I'm showing that the verb is ayin, seen, hey. And here the hey has gone away. So we're left only with ayin and seen from the actual verbal root. The extra yod is not part of a hifil binyan. It just so happens that verbs which end in a hey, we call them lamed hey verbs. You'll see it sometimes in Hebrew jargon as lamed, the letter lamed, and then you have like a double apostrophe, or it looks kind of like a quote mark, and then hey. That means that in the lamed position, that's the last position of the verb, there's usually a hey, that's part of the root. So in those verbal forms, when we put it in a second person perfect form like this, that there is a yod there to help with the pronunciation. So we say, asita, and of course the ta reminds us of ata, which is you, right? So asita is you made. Ve asita, this is a vav conversive, is going to change the aspect to imperfect. So, and you shall make, right? Instead of you made, and you shall make, what will you make? Et, that's aleph tav, we don't translate. Habadim. If you're just listening, it's hey for the. Beit with a dagesh in it. Dalet yod mem. Habadim. So the hab, that's from the ancient Hebrew word hal, which has survived in other Semitic languages like Arabic as al. You'll still hear them say that like al malaki, right? The king. So al malik. Sorry. So hal badim became hab badim. So hab, the badim. Bad, beit dalet, means pole, like a pole for carrying something, right? Visualize like a dowel rod, something like that. And the im ending, this is just the common or the masculine plural ending, right? So when you have a mixed group of things, im is the plural, or if they're all masculine, im is the plural, okay? So the asita, and shall make you et, aleph tav, we don't translate, hab badim, the poles. Okay, how shall you make them? We have a construct chain with two words, atzei, shitim. Atzei, this is from the word eitz, ayin tzadi, which is tree or wood. So this is the construct plural form from the im, the mem dropped away, and so we say of. So atzei, wood of shitim. Shin, tet, yod, mem. Shitim, which means acacia. So wood of acacia wood. That's what these poles are to be made out of, the strong acacia wood. Any comments or questions? You guys okay? So that's the end of the clause, or the nachta marker. It looks like a fish, like a wishbone. Sorry, I'm not turning my camera today. Just sometimes it's just easier to do it this way, and I think with a laser pointer, it's easier for me to zoom and stuff when I do like this. So sometimes you get my mug, sometimes not. The Hebrew's the same though. And that's really what's important. Okay, continuing. vetzipita. So this is another lamed hey verb, tzadi, pei, hey. And again, this hey also has gone away. So that's why we have the yod, not because it's hifil. It is not hifil. This is in fact a piel form of the verb. And you can tell there's a strong dagesh in the pei. If you're just listening, it's tzadi, pei, and inside the pei I have a glowing kind of purplish dot. That's the strong dagesh, the dagesh forte, dagesh chazak, however you want to call that guy. And then the yod just helps us with pronunciation for lamed hey verbs ending in hey. Ta. So just like we had asa ending in a hey became asita. Also we have tsafa became tzipita. The reason the vowels are different is because it's a PL. It's an intensive form, okay? Now tsafa, tsari pe hey, means to overlay, right? And this is the intensive form, the PL. So that's to completely overlay or to coat, right? So vetzipita and shell coat ta. That's ata, you. What shall you coat? Otam. Aleph tav, that's the definite direct object marker. And the mem at the end, well, that is our pronoun. That is a pronominal suffix. So ot, we don't translate. Means them. Otam is them. Vetzipita, and you shall tzipe, you shall completely cover, or you shall coat. Otam, them. And then it kind of implies with more correct, at least for standard biblical Hebrew, we would have expected a bait here, zahav, but that's fine. Some use it, some scribes use it, some don't. So zahav, zayin hey bait, right? Okay, that's gold, zayin hey bait. Okay, I'll read through it one more time. You try to translate before I do. Okay, ve asito. And you shall asa ayin sin hey et habadim. Hab, that's the bad im. So the plural of bad, the poles. Bad is pole. You shall make the poles, badim, atzei shitim, wood of shitim, acacia, wood of acacia. Vetzipita, and you shall tzipe, tzadi, pei, hey, in the intensive PL binyan. You shall completely overlay, or you shall coat, otam, aleph tav, mem. So that's just et, the definite direct object marker, with a mem on the end. So that's how you say them, right? We don't say hem or hema when it's the object. Well, you could say etem. You could say, you'll see that sometimes etem, but here it's otam with a suffix instead. So what will you coat them with? Zahav. Zayin hey beit, gold. And if you don't know this word, maybe the topic indexer, could you make a placeholder for this? I can find the card if you like. Just mark a video card here. And then over up here in the right-hand corner, I'll have a link to my word of the day. I have a pretty cool one for gold I think you'll like. 60-second video teaching that vocabulary, teaching the American Sign Language for it, and also some neat animations and a verse where it's being used in addition to this one. Or this could be your verse. Okay, I'll just read that one more time. Just try to understand as best as you can. Ve'asita et habadim atzei shitim vetzipita otam zahav. All right. Going to move on to verse 6. Verse 6 is a little bit longer. We need to pick up the pace. It says, Venatataha oto lifnei haparkhet asher aron ha'edut lifnei hakaporet asher alhaidut asher iv'ed lecha shama. And I didn't fully pronounce the ayin in the ha'idut because worrying about the pronunciation, the cantillation mark there. So ha'idut. Okay, let's go. Venatata. So this is from the word natan. I've written, if you're a visual learner, I've written the final noon there, which is missing, natan. And that is why there's a dagish in the tav. That noon has gone inside of there. So in ancient Hebrew, that means before Bible times, this would have been venatanta. Natanta became natata. And we just kind of slur through it now, venatata. Okay? Natanta, that means you gave, or you set, or you placed. Okay? But we have the vav conversive, changing it, venatanta, so you shall set, or so you shall place. Ot, oh, that's it. Lifnei haparkhet. Okay, lifnei. Lifnei means before, right? Literally, it's lamed, which is two, and then panim is face. Panei, we drop the mem, is face of. So two, face of, right? Hap parokhet. So ha is the, and parokhet is like the separating veil there, the separating curtain for the inner sanctum, for the kadosh kadoshim, the holy of holies. Asher aleph shin resh, which is, we have to imply, supply from English, al ayin lamed, over aron ha'edut. Aron, aleph resh nun, if you're just listening, is like a chest. In this case, we usually translate ark. We have a construct chain, ark of ha'edut, the testimonies. Okay, so the ark of the testimonies, we can imply that it has strength. When you have a construct chain like this, the the-ness of the word extends to the word in front of it. So as long as it sounds correct in English or in your language, we say the aron, the ark of the erdut testimonies. Okay. All right, let's go back to that one more time. Venatata, which was natanta, and you shall give, literally, but you can interpret set, place. The verb sometimes means like assign, prescribe. You shall set ot, oh, that's it, literally him, lifnei, before haparkhet, the parokhet, the like veil, or like the dividing curtain there, this little curtain. Asher, which is al ayin lamed, upon or over aron ha'edut, the ark of the testimonies. Lifnei, it's called that because the Ten Commandments are inside, right? Those are the edut. Each one is a witness. So there's two tablets. It's avanayim. There's two stones. They're the testimonies of the pact, the agreement. Some scholars translate this pact, the ark of the pact. That's fine if you want to be that way. Lifnei hakaporet. Lifnei, before the kaporet, before the kaporet. Now look at the root on this guy. If you didn't know what this was, even, it's kind of interesting. Even if you didn't know what it was, we have a, you don't have to look, you can listen. Kaf, pe, resh. Kafar. Well, what is kafar? Kafar is to cover. And what about kippur? Sound familiar? Yom HaKippurim or Yom Kippur, right? Day of extreme covering, in other words, atonement, right? Or as Akkadian has, kipparu, it can mean purging, which is useful to know. So when you reach the phrases about the mizbeach or the aron being kippelled, they're not being atoned for, they're being purged of any impurities. So that's good. Okay, which is similar to the process that happens to us. So this is a noun that's from that. So if kafar is to cover, and kippeh would be like to completely cover, i.e. it's out of sight, it's atoned for, it's purged out even, then hapaporet would be something that would help you to cover. And it is, it's a lid. This is the lid that's on top of the ark. Hakaporet, the lid. Asher, which is al, ayin lamed, above ha'edut, the testimonies, right? It's covering the Ten Commandments, the testimonies. Asher, aleph shin resh, which va'id, va'id. Now that that's aleph. If you're a visual learner, it's easier to explain here. The aleph reminds us of the aleph in ani, I, or anochi, I. So I will va'id, va'id. So the verb is actually, the verbal root is actually yod, ayin dalet, and that yod is gone. It's become a vav here. And there's a strong dagesh in that vav because in ancient times this would have been in va'id because it's a nifal binyan. Nifal verbal stems are called nifal because they start with an n sound, the n, right? So there would have been an n there. So it would have been in va'id, and over time that became iv va'id or iwayed in the old times. So iwayed, we don't say it that way. We'll say iva, okay? And this is like to meet with, like I will meet with, right? I will meet with you, or I will counsel, right? I will. It's kind of hyper literally. It's like I will be witnessed. I will be witnessed. Lecha, to you, shama, there, and of course very interesting in various places in the different targumim, the Aramaic, Jewish Aramaic translations of the Torah. We sometimes find that you know what is at the hakaporet of the ark. You know whom Moshe is meeting there. Moshe Rabbeinu, he meets with Aramaic mimro, which is hadavar, the word, right? Sometimes called called dibura also, or in Jewish Greek, halagos. Okay, one more time through. Try to get it before me. Venatato used to be natanta. That's your hint. And you shall place him lifnei haparkhet, before the veil, right, or the like the curtain covering. Asher alef shin resh, which is al aron ha'edut, upon or over the ark of the testimonies. Lifnei, before hakaporet, before the thing that kapars, that kipers, that totally covers. That's the lid. Asher, which is al, upon or over ha'edut, the edut, ayin dalet tav. By the way, an ayin dalet is a testimony. So in the book of Revelation, this translates into Jewish Greek as martyr or martyria, right? So martyria, very interesting, right? So this is where we get the word for martyr from. It's a witness, although it didn't have the idea of someone who had to die yet when the book of Revelation was written. And so when the book of Revelation says that the beast will make war against the remnant who have survived, who have come, who they keep the entolen theu, they keep the laws of God, and the martyrioi, the martyrian, Iesu. Sorry, I have to think about the accusative. The that's the edut, this word, the testimony of Yeshua, right? So those who keep so the beast will make war on the remnant, ton terunton, tas and tolas. Those who are shomrei mitzvot, those who keep the commandments, well, more fully, tu theu, of God. But it doesn't stop there. The qualification is also kayachantan, and who hold tein matarian Yesu, the edut of Yeshua. Okay, so let's continue. Asher, which Iva eid, or in this case, maybe where. Asher can mean where. Yeah, that's probably better. Where Iva eid, I will eid, I will testify, right? I will give witness. I will bear witness. Although literally, I mean, usually translated like I will meet lecha, to you, shama, thither. Okay, let's read it through one more time, and then we'll be done with this. Well, maybe it won't be done. Maybe I'll make. Let's see. Well, let's read it through one more time, then I'll decide. Venatata oto lifnei haparkhet asher al aron ha'edut lifnei hakaporet asher al ha'edut asher ivaid lecha shama. Hey, now we are on verse 7 of Exodus chapter 30 in our Listen and Learn with Visual Cues directed immersion course in the book of Exodus right now. Can you believe it? We are deep into chapter 30 already. So much of the book has been traversed. So let me just go ahead and scan it for you. Vehiktir alaiv aron ketoret samim baboker baboker vehetivo et hanerot yaktirena. Sorry, it threw me off. Looks like there's a black line going through. All right, let's pick it apart now. Vehiktir. The verbal root is kuf or kof, however you call it. Tet resh. By the way, it's not that I don't know how to call it. There's different traditions, just for the haters out there, just so you're aware of what's happening. The hifil is indicated by the hey at the beginning and the yod jammed in before the 1, 2, third root letter from the verb. So when you see an extra yod jammed in there, that's telling us this is the hifil, the causative or elative binyan. Okay. Now the verbal root kuf tet resh, it means to be smoky, right? Like to be smoky. So hiktir means he made smoky. He caused to be smoky. Okay. The vav conversive changes it. Ve hiktir is and he will make smoky. So it's now imperfect. Alaiv, ayin lamed, alaiv upon it, meaning the aron. Who's going to do this verb? The vehiktir is the verb, and the subject is Aharon, right? They're kind of separate. They're kind of far there. So let me. Okay, our verb is the first word, and the subject is following, right? So that happens sometimes where even though we expect the subject to follow a verb, sometimes a small word, usually a preposition or something, will slip in before we see the subject, right? So the text could have said vehiktir Aharon alaiv. That would have been fine. But this is just the style here. It goes in. Okay. So Aharon shall make smoky upon it. What will he make smoky upon it? Ketoret. So it's the same verbal root, kuf tet resh. So something which helps you to make smoke. Okay. Ketoret, incense of samim. Samach mem yod mem. Samim are spices. So incense spices. Smoky spices. Okay. He's going to hiktir ketoret. Samim. Baboker, baboker. So beit means in. Ab is the boker. Beit kufresh. Boker is morning. So baboker in the morning. Baboker in the morning. More specifically, baboker, baboker. So that means every morning. Every morning. Next, we have another hifil word coming up from the verbal root yatav. Yod, tet, beit. Yatav. And this means to be good. It sounds kind of like tov, right? Tov. Tov comes from this verbal root. The yod went away, and we got tov. So this is a hifil form of it. So we still have, in this case, we still have the yod, right? And we still have the tet, we still have the beit. So be means when. Hetiv, he does well. Oh, with it. Okay? When he makes well with it. Et hanerot, the lamps. Those of you who know the Siddur are accustomed to praying the Jewish prayer book, you might be familiar with Hu Heitiv, Hu Meitiv, Hu Yetiv Lanu, Hu Gabalanu, Hu Gabalenu, Hu Gabalenu, Lechen, Lechesed, Rachamim. Anyway, stop. That's from the Birkat Hamazon, from the Grace After Meals. So Heitiv, Hu Heitiv, he does well, he makes well. So this is having to do with Aharon properly getting everything situated and set up rightly, okay? So this is an infinitive. Heitiv. So when you have an infinitive and you put a beit in front of it, that justifies translating as when. Literally, it says be in heitiv, making well of him. So when he does well, when he makes well, when he's got it all set up, right? What does he make well? What does he handle properly? We don't translate hanerot. And I've been making the feminine plurals for the visual learners in pink tonight, the ot, just to kind of reinforce that is feminine, not emphasis, but feminine. et hanerot, the nails, nails. And you probably know this word ner if you've been often to a synagogue. There's the ner tamid, the lamp of perpetuity, right? The continual lamp. There's the light that's always on by the ark, right? At least there should be. Okay. Yak tirena. Yak tirena. Another hifil, but this is an imperfect form. The ya at the beginning tells us he will ketir. He will kuf tet, for those listening. And we have a yod jammed in there before the resh. That's how we know it's a hifil. Right? The root is kuf tet resh, but before the resh there's a yod, a long chiriki. Yak tir. He will make smoky. Nah. Her. It. Meaning kind of treated collectively the lamps. Okay. How you guys doing? All right, let me, just checking the time. Let me go through one more time and you try to translate before I do. All right? Vehiktir, and he shall make smoky or incensey, alaiv, upon ive, upon him, upon it, meaning the ark. Who will do it? Aharon, alav he resh nun. What will he make smoky upon it? Or with what will he do it? Ketoret, samim. Ketoret, samim. Incense spices. Baboker, baboker. In the morning, in the morning. Behetivo, when he has made, well, et hanerot, the lamps. Yak tir ena, he shall make smoky it. Okay, and I'll just read through at a regular pace now. Do your best to understand. Vehiktir alaiv aron, ketoret samim, baboker, baboker. Behetivo et hanerot, yak tirena. All right, how'd you guys do? You do all right? So I think I'm just going to leave you with one kind of larger lesson tonight rather than trying to break it up into too many pieces. And give me some feedback. Let me know how you liked it. Do you like the smaller bite-sized lessons, the 15-minute ones, or do you like these larger lessons, longer lessons? I'm trying to get a feel. So leave me a comment down below if you're not in the live chat, and I would sure appreciate it. Special thanks to my patrons, my monthly supporters. I really appreciate you guys. You make this possible. And thanks, of course, to all the members of Congregation Simchat Hashem in the beautiful Philippine Islands. So grateful to you guys for your support as well. May this bless you, this teaching, all of you. May you come closer to Hashem and closer to understanding Lashon HaKodesh. I really hope you'll stick with it. If you're having trouble, there's very rarely a day that I don't hear from someone out there in the world that they haven't had breakthroughs in Hebrew because of this method of teaching. So if it seems scary to you or nerve-wracking, you're new, stick with it. We're in the Word. The beauty of it is we are in the Word. We're not just with our heads in grammar books, all right? Learning, this is how people learned it in ancient days. Maybe not with the and oh and that stuff, but this is how people learn it. This is how people learned it. You learn by doing, right? Learn the Word by doing, learn it by reading. And let me know your success story. If this has helped you, I really appreciate it. That really helps to give me the emotional juice to keep pushing forward. Be blessed. Have a wonderful rest of your day ahead. And I will see you guys tomorrow as we work through the book of First Kings in the prophets. Shalom, shalom.